My name is Sarah Mitchell, and I'm 28 years old. The day my parents told me I didn't live in my childhood home anymore started like any other Thursday morning in Portland, Oregon. Rain tapped against my bedroom window, the same window I'd gazed out of since I was 7 years old. I could see the old maple tree in the front yard, its branches heavy with autumn leaves turning gold and crimson. I worked from home as a graphic designer, and that morning, I was finishing a logo for a local coffee shop when I heard my mother's footsteps on the stairs. Her steps were different that day, heavier, more purposeful. When she knocked on my door, something in that sound made my stomach tighten. "Sarah, we need to talk," Mom said, not waiting for me to respond before opening the door. Her face was set in that expression I'd learned to dread over the years, the one that meant she'd made a decision and nothing would change her mind. Dad stood behind her in the hallway, his arms crossed over his chest. He wouldn't meet my eyes. "What's going on?" I asked, saving my work and turning in my chair. "Your father and I have been discussing this for months," Mom began, her voice crisp and businesslike. "You're 28 years old, Sarah. You have a job. You have income. It's time for you to find your own place." The words hit me like cold water. What? I don't understand." "We're giving you 30 days, Dad finally spoke, his voice quieter than Mom's, but just as firm. "We need our space back. We want to turn your room into a home gym." A home gym. They wanted to replace me with a treadmill. "But I pay rent," I protested, my voice cracking slightly. "I've been paying you $700 a month for 3 years. I help with groceries, utilities." "That's not the point," Mom interrupted. "The point is that you're an adult. You should have moved out years ago. Most of your high school friends have their own apartments. Some are even married with children. It's embarrassing when people ask us why our daughter still lives at home." The word embarrassing stung more than anything else she could have said. "Look, sweetie," Dad said, finally making eye contact. "We're not kicking you out without warning. You have a month. That's plenty of time to find something affordable." I wanted to argue, to remind them how I'd stayed home after college to help when Dad had his surgery, how I'd been there for Mom during her cancer scare, how I'd put my own plans on hold time and time again. But looking at their faces, I realized nothing I said would matter. They'd already decided. "Fine," I said, my voice hollow. 30 days. After they left, I sat in my room, my soon-to-be former room, and felt the walls closing in. The rain outside picked up, hammering against the window with renewed intensity. My laptop screen glowed in the dimness, that half-finished logo mocking me with its cheerful colors. I grabbed my phone and called my best friend, Jessica. "They're kicking me out," I said when she answered, not bothering with a greeting. "Wait, what? Your parents? 30 days. They want their space back for a home gym." The words tasted bitter. "Oh my God, Sarah. I'm so sorry. Do you want to come over?" "No, I need to start looking for places. $700 a month was cheap. I don't know how I'm going to afford anything in this market." Jessica was quiet for a moment. "You know what? This might be a blessing in disguise. You've been talking about wanting your own place for years, but never pulled the trigger because staying home was comfortable. Being forced out isn't exactly how I imagined it happening." "I know, but you're strong, Sarah. You'll figure it out. And hey, at least you have 30 days, not 30 minutes. After we hung up, I opened my laptop and started searching for apartments. My heart sank with each listing I clicked on. Studios in decent neighborhoods started at $1,400 a month. One-bedrooms were even worse. With my freelance income averaging around $3,000 monthly, I'd be spending half my earnings just on rent. That evening at dinner, the tension was thick enough to cut. Mom served pot roast, my favorite, which felt like a strange apology that came too late. We ate in silence, the scraping of forks against plates the only sound. "Any luck with apartment hunting?" Dad asked, attempting normalcy. "Everything's expensive," I replied, keeping my voice neutral. "Well, you'll have to make it work," Mom said, not looking up from her plate. "Maybe get a roommate. That's what people your age do." I bit back a sharp response and focused on my food. The next 2 weeks blurred together in a haze of apartment viewings and mounting anxiety. I saw places with mold growing in corners, studios so small I could touch both walls with my arms outstretched, and shared houses with strangers who seemed questionable at best. Each night, I returned to my childhood room feeling more defeated. During this time, I threw myself into work, taking on extra projects and pulling long hours. If I was going to make rent somewhere, I needed to increase my income. My client list grew, and I started building a financial cushion, working until 2 or 3 in the morning most nights. One Saturday afternoon, exhausted from another fruitless apartment search, I drove through my old neighborhood, the one where I'd lived until I was 7, before we moved to the house I was now being evicted from. I hadn't been back to Laurelhurst in years, and nostalgia pulled me down those tree-lined streets. That's when I saw it. The house, my first house, had a for sale sign in the front yard. I pulled over, my heart hammering. It was a small craftsman bungalow, probably built in the 1920s, with a deep front porch and original wooden shingles painted a soft gray blue. The maple tree I used to climb was still there, older and fuller now. The garden where Mom used to grow tomatoes had gone wild, but I could see its potential beneath the overgrowth. Without thinking, I called the number on the sign. Cascade Realty, this is Marcus speaking. Hi, I'm calling about the house on Southeast Cesar Chavez, I said, my voice shakier than I intended. The craftsman bungalow. Ah, yes. Beautiful property. Are you interested in viewing it? How much are they asking? $380,000. It needs some work, but it's structurally sound. Great bones, as they say. When would you like to see it? $380,000. I did quick mental math. With my savings and the inheritance my grandmother had left me 2 years ago, money I'd been hoarding for some undefined future, I could put down 20%. My mortgage would be around $2,000 a month, but I'd be building equity, not throwing money away on rent. Can I see it today? Marcus met me there within an hour. The interior smelled of dust and old wood, but underneath that, I caught hints of something familiar, a scent memory from childhood I couldn't quite name. The hardwood floors needed refinishing. The kitchen was trapped in the 1990s, and the bathroom tiles were cracked, but the bones were good, just as Marcus had said. High ceilings, original built-in shelves, a stone fireplace, large windows that filled the rooms with light despite the overcast sky. I lived here when I was little, I told Marcus, running my hand along the windowsill in what used to be my bedroom. From when I was 2 until I was 7. Really? That's amazing. Fate bringing you home. I didn't believe in fate, but standing in that house, I felt something shift inside me. This wasn't just about finding a place to live. This was about reclaiming something, autonomy, dignity, a piece of my past that had always felt incomplete. I want to make an offer, I said. Marcus's eyebrows shot up. Don't you want to think about it? Maybe bring someone to look at it with you? A partner? Or... No, I want to make an offer today, full asking price. Over the next week, everything moved with surprising speed. The sellers were motivated. They'd already moved out of state for work and wanted a quick close. My pre-approval came through from the bank. The inspection revealed issues, but nothing catastrophic. Some electrical updating needed, a roof that had maybe 5 years left, an aging water heater. I negotiated a small credit for repairs and signed the papers in a daze. I didn't tell my parents what I was doing. Every evening at dinner, they'd ask about my apartment search, and I'd give vague answers. Still looking, or nothing feels right yet. Mom grew increasingly irritated with each passing day. You have 1 week left, Sarah, she reminded me constantly. 1 week, and then you need to be out. I know, Mom. I'm handling it. Are you? Because it seems like you're not taking this seriously. I wanted to tell her that I was taking it more seriously than she could imagine, but I held my tongue. Let them think I was scrambling. Let them believe they'd forced me into some desperate situation. The closing was scheduled for the day before my 30-day deadline. On moving day, I woke up early. The rain had finally stopped, and weak November sunlight streamed through my bedroom window. I'd packed everything over the previous week, working quietly at night after my parents went to sleep. Boxes lined the walls of my room, labeled and ready. I'd hired a small moving company, just 2 guys with a truck, and they arrived at 8 in the morning. Mom and Dad were already up, drinking coffee in the kitchen when the doorbell rang. What's this? Dad asked, following me to the door. Movers, I said simply, opening the door to let them in. You found a place? Mom appeared behind Dad, her coffee mug frozen halfway to her lips. I did. Where? When were you going to tell us? I'm telling you now. I directed the movers upstairs. Everything in the bedroom on the right. For the next 2 hours, my parents hovered, asking questions I answered with minimal detail. Yes, I found a place. No, it's not too far. Yes, I can afford it. The tension in the house ratcheted higher with each box that was carried out. Finally, when the truck was loaded, I stood in the empty room that had been mine for 21 years. The walls were lighter where posters had hung, the carpet slightly less worn where my bed had been. It looked smaller without my things, sadder somehow. "So that's it?" Mom said from the doorway. "You're just leaving? That's what you wanted, isn't it?" I kept my voice level. "Your space back, your home gym. Don't be dramatic," she said, but something in her voice wavered. Dad appeared beside her. "Where exactly are you moving to, Sarah? We should have an address. You're still our daughter." This was the moment I'd been waiting for. "I'm moving to Laurelhurst," I said, watching their faces carefully. "Southeast Cesar Chavez. Remember that neighborhood?" Dad's forehead creased. "That's where we used to live." "Yes." I pulled out my phone and showed them a photo of the house. "I bought it. Our old house. I closed on it yesterday." The silence that followed was profound. Mom's coffee mug slipped from her hand, shattering on the hardwood floor. Neither of them moved to clean it up. "You bought a house?" Dad's voice was barely a whisper. "You couldn't afford that," Mom said, but she sounded uncertain. "Houses in that neighborhood are $380,000. I put down $76,000 and my mortgage is about $2,000 a month, less than I'd pay in rent for a decent apartment, and I'm building equity." "Where did you get $76,000? Mom demanded. "Grandma's inheritance, plus my savings. The money I've been putting away from every freelance job for the past 5 years. The rent I was paying you? I was also saving double that amount each month. Living at home was cheap, remember? You reminded me of that often enough." Dad looked stunned. "Sarah, we didn't know." "Didn't know what? That I had plans? That I was capable? You assumed I was just floating along, too comfortable and lazy to leave." My voice remained calm, but my hands shook slightly. I clasped them behind my back. "You said I was embarrassing, that I should have moved out years ago." "We didn't mean—" Mom started. "Yes, you did. You meant every word." I took a breath. "But you know what? You did me a favor. I'd been playing it safe, staying here because it was easy. You forced me to take a risk, and now I own property in one of the best neighborhoods in Portland. I own the house where I learned to walk, where Dad taught me to ride a bike, where Mom grew those tomatoes I loved so much." Neither of them seemed to know what to say. The coffee continued to drip from the counter onto the broken mug pieces below. "I need to go," I said, moving past them. "The movers are waiting." "Sarah, wait," Dad called after me. "Let's talk about this. Maybe we were too hasty." I turned back. "Too hasty? You gave me 30 days to leave the home I've lived in for 21 years. You didn't ask about my plans, my feelings, or whether I needed help. You just wanted your gym." "That's not fair," Mom said, finally finding her voice. "We raised you, supported you, and I'm grateful. I really am. But support isn't supposed to come with an expiration date or conditions. You don't get to throw that in my face now." I walked out before either of them could respond. The drive to Laurelhurst took 20 minutes through Saturday morning traffic. The mover's truck was already parked in front of the house when I arrived, and seeing it there, my house, made something in my chest loosen. Jessica was waiting on the porch, holding a bottle of champagne and a takeout bag from our favorite Thai restaurant. "You did it," she said, pulling me into a hug. "I'm so proud of you." "I can't believe I actually did it," I admitted, my voice muffled against her shoulder. "How did your parents take it?" "About as well as you'd expect. Shocked." Mom dropped her coffee mug. Jessica pulled back, grinning. "I would have paid to see that." We spent the day unpacking, ordering the movers around, and making plans for renovations. The house needed work, but every flaw felt like an opportunity rather than a problem. The outdated kitchen would become the modern, functional space I'd always wanted. The cracked bathroom tiles would be replaced with something beautiful. The overgrown garden would bloom again. The first month in the house was challenging. I discovered issues the inspection had missed: drafty windows, inadequate insulation, a leak in the basement when it rained. But I tackled each problem methodically, learning to be handy with tools, watching YouTube tutorials, and calling in professionals when necessary. My freelance business continued to grow. Word of mouth brought new clients, and I raised my rates. Working from home in a space that was truly mine felt different, more focused, more motivated. I converted the second bedroom into an office, painting the walls a soft sage green, and installing floating shelves for my design books and supplies. I didn't hear from my parents for 3 weeks after I moved out. The silence hurt more than I wanted to admit, but I refused to be the one to break it. I'd done nothing wrong. I'd simply chosen myself for once. Jessica helped me paint the living room one Saturday, and we were taking a break on the porch when a familiar car pulled up to the curb. My stomach dropped. "Want me to stay?" Jessica asked quietly. "No, it's okay. I should talk to them alone." Mom and Dad approached hesitantly, as if they weren't sure of their welcome. They looked older somehow, though only a few weeks had passed, or maybe I was just seeing them differently now. "Hi," I said, remaining seated on the porch steps. "Hi, sweetheart," Dad said. "The house looks good. You've been working hard. Can we come in?" Mom asked. "To talk?" I considered refusing, but curiosity won. I led them inside, watching their faces as they took in the changes I'd made. The walls I'd painted, the furniture I'd arranged, the personal touches that made the space mine. "It's coming together," Mom said softly. "I remember this room. We had a piano right there, by the window." "I remember," I said. "I used to hide behind it during thunderstorms." We sat in the living room, the silence stretching awkwardly until Dad finally spoke. "We owe you an apology, Sarah, a big one." I waited. "We were wrong," Mom continued, her voice thick. "About how we handled things, about what we said. We treated you like you were a burden when you'd been nothing but helpful and responsible. We took you for granted," Dad added. "And we're sorry. We're so sorry." I wanted to stay angry, to make them suffer the way I had, but looking at them, I saw genuine remorse. They were flawed people who'd made a mistake, a big one, but still just a mistake. "Why did you do it?" I asked. "Really?" They exchanged a glance. "We were having problems," Mom admitted. "Your father and I. We'd been arguing a lot, and somehow we convinced ourselves that if we had the house to ourselves, if we could recapture what we had before kids, it would fix things." "That's not Sarah's fault," I said. We know that now. We were looking for an easy solution to complicated problems, and we hurt you in the process." Dad's eyes were red-rimmed. "We're seeing a counselor now, working on our issues." "That's good," I said carefully. "I'm glad you're getting help." "We'd like to help you," Mom said, "with the house. Your father is handy with renovations, and I could help with the garden." "Mom, Dad, I appreciate that, but..." I paused, choosing my words carefully. "I need to do this myself. I need to know I can build something on my own without depending on anyone else." "We understand," Dad said, though disappointment flickered across his face. "But," I continued, "maybe once I've gotten the major stuff done, you could come over for dinner? I'd like that." Mom's face brightened. "We'd like that too." They didn't stay long after that, but the visit felt like a tentative first step toward something new. Not the relationship we'd had before, but maybe something more honest. Over the next few months, I transformed the house room by room. I hired a contractor to update the electrical and replace the water heater. I refinished the hardwood floors myself, spending weekends on my knees with a sander and varnish. I gutted the kitchen, installing new cabinets and countertops with the help of a friend from high school who'd become a carpenter. The garden became my meditation. I cleared away the overgrowth, turning the soil, planting bulbs for spring and seeds for vegetables. Jessica came over often, helping me weed and plan layouts. On warm evenings, we'd sit on the porch with wine, watching the neighborhood go by, and I'd feel a contentment I'd never experienced before. My parents visited once a month for dinner, our relationship slowly rebuilding. We didn't talk about the past much, focusing instead on the present. Dad admired my handiwork, offering advice only when asked. Mom brought plants from her own garden, helping me arrange them in the beds I'd prepared. One evening in April, after my parents had left and I was cleaning up the dinner dishes, I stood at my kitchen sink and looked out at the backyard. The maple tree was budding, the garden beds were full of green shoots, and the sunset painted everything in shades of pink and gold. My phone buzzed with a message from Jessica. "How'd dinner go?" "Good," I typed back. "Really good, actually." "Proud of you," she responded. "You've come so far." She was right. 6 months ago, I'd been sleeping in my childhood bedroom, wondering if I'd ever have the courage to truly leave. Now I owned property, ran a successful business, and had built a life entirely on my own terms. I wasn't embarrassing. I wasn't a burden. I was a homeowner, a businesswoman, a daughter who'd learned to set boundaries. I was Sarah Mitchell, and I'd taken the worst thing my parents had done to me and transformed it into the best thing that ever happened to me. The house settled around me with familiar creaks and sighs, and for the first time in my life, I felt completely at home.